Hello, my brilliant Sussex squadron. Gather close, pour yourself a hot cup of tea. Or, if today's story rattles your nerves as much as I suspect it will, perhaps something a little stronger, and settle in. Because what I have for you today is no ordinary royal scandal. Oh no, this is one of those moments where the curtain slips, where the polished PR machine sputters, and where the reality of Britain's so-called future king and queen collides dramatically with the harsh truth of a nation barely holding itself together. Yes, my friends, today we're talking about William and Kate, the golden couple of the monarchy's fragile PR campaign, who, despite being painted as humble, down-to-earth and oh-so-relatable, have once again shown that their version of service seems to be serving themselves. How, you ask? By splurging an eye-watering £15 million on what they are calling a fresh start. Yes, you heard me right, 15 million blown on luxury, while families across Britain are struggling to pay rent, keep the lights on, and put food on the table. But before we dive into the drama of mansions, fresh start PR slogans, and carefully staged sympathy plays, let's pause for a moment and look at the context. Britain is not in an age of prosperity, far from it. Nurses are striking, teachers are underpaid, veterans are neglected, and everyday citizens are being told to tighten their belts as energy costs skyrocket. And yet, in the middle of all this hardship, the so-called model royals are out shopping for mansions like ordinary families shop for groceries. The disconnect is staggering. What makes this even more outrageous is the spin. Ah yes, the palace PR machine never misses a beat, does it? We're told, over and over, that this is about Kate and William's fresh start. A new chapter, a new home for the children, a way to heal after Kate's illness. But forgive me, Sussex Squadron, if I don't swallow that spoonful of sugar-coated nonsense. Because the timing, the cost, and the sheer audacity of it all reveal something very different. This isn't about healing. This isn't about service. This is about distraction, about keeping the narrative carefully managed so that Britain doesn't notice just how hollow the House of Windsor has become. And here's where the irony cuts deep. While William and Kate parade their fresh start in the press, Harry, the very brother they pushed out, stripped of titles and tried to silence, continues to do the work they pretend to care about. Just look at the veterans. Harry, despite being denied the right to wear his military uniform and robbed of his patronages, continues to champion veterans' causes with authenticity and consistency. Meanwhile, William, who once styled himself as a champion of remembrance, couldn't even be bothered to attend the VJ Day commemorations. Let that sink in. Veterans who fought for the freedoms William enjoys were remembered without him, because apparently a luxury move took priority. And then comes the bitter twist. This grand move, this Windsor Mansion narrative, isn't even original. Let's call it what it is. Copycatting. William and Kate are forever shadowing Harry and Meghan. When Harry and Meghan moved to Frogmore, suddenly William and Kate had to downsize from Kensington Palace and present themselves as modest. When Harry and Meghan left for a life of independence, William and Kate doubled down on presenting themselves as hard-working royals. And now, when Harry and Meghan build a family home filled with warmth and independence in California, William and Kate respond with, yes, another staged fresh start in Windsor. Do you see the pattern? Sussex Squadron. It isn't leadership. It isn't vision. It's envy, plain and simple. William and Kate cannot carve out their own identity because they are too busy trying to mimic, compete with, and overshadow the very couple they spent years smearing in the press. And it would be almost comical if it weren't so costly, so hypocritical, and so insulting to the people footing the bill. And let's not forget, £15 million isn't pocket change. That's taxpayer money, whether it's direct or indirect, whether it comes through sovereign grant funds or quiet arrangements hidden from public view. It is wealth extracted from a public that has no choice in the matter. People in Britain are lining up at food banks, children are skipping meals, and parents are working 2 or 3 jobs just to stay afloat. Yet William and Kate get to float from one mansion to another under the soothing language of fresh starts. What's worse, this fresh start language has become a parody of itself. How many fresh starts can one couple have? Wasn't Anne Hall supposed to be their sanctuary? Wasn't Kensington Palace their London base, a symbol of duty and commitment? Now Windsor is the new chapter, and mark my words, within a few years they'll be hunting for yet another fresh start. Because honestly, this isn't about place, it's about image. It's about selling a narrative of resilience, sympathy, and normalcy when the reality is extravagant spending and hollow duty. And yet, the tide is turning. The public, once dazzled by the fairy tale veneer, is beginning to see through the cracks. Social media is ablaze with criticism. People are asking real questions. Why aren't William and Kate held accountable for their spending? Why are they excused from duty while Harry and Meghan are hounded for every move they make? Why is the media silent when the heirs waste millions, yet vicious when the spares build an honest life abroad? These questions are not going away. In fact, they reveal a larger truth. The monarchy is increasingly unsustainable. The days when the British public could be distracted with pretty portraits and balcony waves are over. In the digital age, hypocrisy is visible in real time. And when veterans see Harry doing the work while William skips commemorations, when struggling families see £15 million splashed on mansions, when the words "fresh start" are repeated like a bad commercial slogan, well, the illusion begins to shatter. And perhaps that's why this story matters so much. It isn't just about one mansion or one wasted opportunity. It's about a system that shields privilege while punishing independence. It's about heirs who are coddled and protected, while spares who dare to step outside the line are vilified. It's about a monarchy running out of excuses, out of goodwill, and out of time. So, my brilliant squadron, let us conclude where we began. William and Kate's £15 million fresh start is not a symbol of resilience. It is not an act of service. It is a mirror reflecting the deep, growing chasm between the royals and the people they claim to serve. It is a parody of leadership, a copycat attempt to keep up with Harry and Meghan, and above all, a betrayal of the very values they pretend to embody. And as Britain struggles, as veterans are ignored, and as ordinary people suffer under the weight of rising costs, the image of William and Kate basking in their Windsor luxury is not one of inspiration, it is one of indictment. Because, in the end, the truth cannot be spun forever. The phrase "fresh start" has become a cruel joke, and the more it is repeated, the more the public will see that the only thing being refreshed is the same old hypocrisy, wrapped up in PR bows and served with taxpayer funds. So let's raise our cups, Sussex Squadron, not in celebration of their waste, but in solidarity with those who see through it. The tide is turning, the people are watching, and no amount of glossy press can hide the truth forever. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your minds sharp, and remember, when it comes to the royals, the facade is always more fragile than it looks.